Hey everyone, this is the first video of Bases Excel series taught by Professor York. These videos are brought to you by Afaf Bourgeoisie and Daniel Levy. Today what we're going to do is cover the basic formulas that we will be using for our parsing functions taught in the first lesson. This video is meant to be just a quick overview and to teach you how these formulas work. So let's begin. We'll start with the search and find formula. So open up your practice sheet, and we're going to do one of each of the formulas in the examples, and you'll be able to practice it on the one underneath. So the first example, we're going to be extracting the dash, as you can see here on the instructions. So we're going to hit equal sign, and we're going to type in our search, and it says where it's going to ask what text we want to find. We want to find the dash, so we put quotation mark dash quotation mark to tell Excel to find that text. And then we're going to say within text, and we choose the text where the dash is located, and we put a close bracket. And what Excel is going to do is return the first place where the bracket is. So it's going to find the first bracket. It's going to tell us the character placement. So we see 5, which is character placement 1, and then we see dash, which is character placement 2. If it copied down the formula, just delete the formula from the other ones because you're going to need a different formula for the rest of them. So let's begin by now going into the next formula, just to give you one more example. And we're going to type in equals search. Oops, wrong one. Equals search. And we're going to find the space in this case. So we're going to type in quote, space, quote. And that's telling you what text to find. And then we're going to put in a comma, and we're going to say where the text that we're looking for is located, and we click that cell. In this case, the table, it's a table, so it's going to show it that way, and we're going to hit our close bracket. And what you'll see is it found the text on the 8th place, which is the space. So you see 5 dash, which is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it found it on the 8th place over here, including the dashes and everything. It found the character placement on the 8th. Now you could also choose a start number, but we're not going to get into that in this lesson. So let's move on to the find function, which is essentially, for all reference sake, for this lesson's sake, the exact same thing as a search. So let's just do one example. We're going to find the dash again, so we're going to type in quotation mark dash quotation mark, and we're going to select the cell where the dash is going to be found, close our brackets, and you'll see we're left with A2, same situation, and it's going to keep doing that for some of the examples. Now let's move on to the left, right, and mid function, which is going to be the building blocks for the rest of the parsing lessons essentially. So we're going to start with the left function, and over here simply it just says extract the 4 leftmost characters. So starting from the left, extract 4 characters. So we're going to type in left with an equal sign before it, and we're going to choose the text cell where the cell is located where we're extracting the text, comma, and we're going to choose the amount of numbers we're extracting, and we're going to close our brackets, and you'll see the first 4 letters of text are extracted. Now I'm going to let you practice that on the next one. I'm going to move on to right, which is also quite simple in this case. So we're going to extract the 4 rightmost characters, and you could see that would be 10-2. So we're going to choose the cell where the text is located, comma, and we're going to choose the amount of numbers we're going to extract, and that's 4, close brackets, and you can see 10-2. And you can see the right starts, if you could see my pointer, it starts from the right side and pulls this way. As you can see my pointer pulling that way. And the left function starts on the left side and kind of just pulls that way. And Excel naturally works from left to right, as you'll learn in VLOOKUPs and other formulas later on. Now, we're going to do something a little bit more complicated. We're going to use something called a mid function. I'm going to do the second example first, because it only uses the mid function. What the mid function allows us to do really is to assign a start number which is important, but it also, you'll see in a minute, I'll start it and it'll be easier to explain. So in this case, we want to remove all the dashes using the mid formula. Now, if we wanted to, you'll see in concate, we can do that concatenate, we can do that very easily, or with an ampersand sign. But in this case, we're going to do it with mid. So we're going to type in mid, and what we're going to do is we're going to find the text 5, and we're going to basically ignore the dash and move on to the next set of text. So how do we do that? Okay, so we type in mid, and then we hit text, the cell where the text is located. We choose our start number, which in this case is 1. Because just like left, mid works from left to right. We type in our step number 1, and we're going to say how many characters we're going to be extracting. And in this case, it's just 1. Now we're going to close our brackets, and you'll see we have a 5 over here, but we're not done. You're going to learn more about ampersand signs later, but we're going to start it now. We're going to do ampersand, and we're going to follow it with a mid function. And again, select the text where the cell is, select the cell where the text is located, and now we're going to choose our next start number. Now we're ignoring the dash, so we're going to go 5, which is character number 1, dash, which is character number 2, and 1, which is character number 3. So the third character in the cell. And we're going to choose our start number to be 3. And we're going to extract numbers 1 through 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 characters. We're going to close our brackets, and we're going to see we now have the first set extracted. Now I'm going to do it one more time and let you guys try to figure out the last bit. So I'm going to put another ampersand, and I'm going to put in our mid function, and I'm going to select the cell where the text is located, and I'm going to choose my start number, which at this point is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're choosing at 9 because we want to start at the 7. So 9. And then our number of characters is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 characters. Oh, my bad. 5 characters. So we choose 5. Close it. And you'll see we have up to the second bracket. Now I'm going to let you figure out how to do the last one just so you could, take a crack at it. And if you can't figure it out, it's in the answer sheet on the worksheet down here. But try it yourself first. Now, we're going to do one more thing before I move on, and that is going to be manipulating the direction of text, or the order of text, the order of text. So we're going to use all the functions you learned so far to do this one. So let's begin. We're going to convert great is base to base is great. So what are we going to do first? We're going to choose to pull the first word what we want to do in our sentence, which is going to be base. So how do we do that? Well, the first one we start with is going to be the first value that's returned. So what does that mean? It means if we do a right function that pulls base first, base is going to be the first word. Then when we add the ampersand, we can pull a different word, and so on and so on. So let me show you it because it sounds a bit complicated, but it's really not. So we're going to start with right, and just like we did up here, we're going to pull a set number of characters. So we're going to choose the text where our characters are located, and we're going to choose how many we're going to extract from the right side. So we choose 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 characters are in base. So just like that. And you see we have base because you see it starts from the right, goes to the left, and counts the characters. That's how Excel works. Now, we're not done. We got to do the rest of it. So I'm going to put in an ampersand, and I want a space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put ampersand, quote, space, quote. And what that says is do the right function and put a space, and you could put whatever you want in these quotes, but in this case we're putting a space, and then put the ampersand over here on this side. And that's going to say combine these two. So what's our next section? So we have base. Now we want to do is. So we do a mid function. And we're going to start our text from we have to count how many numbers from the left. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 characters from the left. So that's our start number. Oops, I forgot to select our text again. And then we have 6 characters from the left. And then we have to choose how many characters, and simply 2, because is, is. And then we hit close brackets, and we see, oops, I must have made a mistake. Oh, my bad, it was 7 characters, not 6. 7 characters. And you'll see we have base is. Now I'm going to let you guys figure out how to do the next one on your own. I'm going to give you a hint. It involves the left function, and if you have trouble, either use the answer sheet or look back at the first example we gave. And remember, the idea stays the same, where you got to do ampersand, quote, space, quote, ampersand, and then the formula. So I'm going to let you guys try that one for yourselves. If you don't want to do it now, wait till the end of the video and go back and take a crack at it. So the next section we're going to go through is going to be going over substitute, upper, proper, and lower formula functions. These are very simple ones, so we're going to breeze right through them. So substitute, very simple. You hit equals, substitute. It says where's the text that you're going to be substituting. In this case, we're going to be substituting dashes with nothing. If you do quote, quote, that means nothing. It removes spaces. It removes anything in between. So we're going to choose the text where the cell is located. The old text that we're removing in this case is going to be the dash, and we're going to choose how we're going to format the new text that we're putting in, which in this case is quote, quote. And we're going to close that, and we're done. Now I'm going to let you try the other one. Same idea. Remember, you're just, instead of blank, you're putting a space. The next example is going to be to convert base is great. To convert base is great to base properly cased is great. So how do we do that? Well, this is going to be an easy kind of cop-out way to do it, but we're going to do it this way. So we're going to do equals, we're going to choose upper, and we're going to choose the text that we're, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to do left, because we're going to be extracting only the left side, because the base, the is great doesn't need the uppercase, only the bases. So we're going to choose upper, which is going to uppercase whatever we extract. So we choose left, and we extract the five characters that are in base, and from there we're going to just, oh, I forgot to select my text. We're going to select our text, extract, choose the amount of characters that we're extracting, close our brackets, and you'll see, forgot to close both of them, and you'll see we have an uppercase base now, but we're not done. All we're going to do now is simply put on ampersand and open a quote and put is great, just to have it in there nicely, and there you go. Now I'm going to show you proper and then lowercase very quickly. So proper case, basically uppercase is the first letter of each word. So equal proper, select the text you want to create proper, and hit enter, and you see Thomas York incorrectly turns into Thomas York correctly. Here's another example you could try. And lastly, lower, it does exactly what it sounds like. It lowercases any text selected. So there you go. You see Rutgers Business turned all into lowercase from all uppercase. Now, we're going to go into something that is more regarding how Excel understands text and dates and things like that. First things first, I'm going to show you what a date looks like if you convert it to numbers. So you see all these dates. If I select them and go up here and convert it to number, you see Excel actually gives a value to each date. And if I change those, it changes the date. And if I want to give you a quick example, Excel actually has a start date. If I take 1 and convert it to a date formula, you'll see that's the first date that Excel has on file. Now, let's talk about manipulating dates in Excel. So let's change that back to short date. Now, let's populate the month as 2 digits. I'm going to show you how to work with months, days, and years, and then I'm going to let you guys play around with it. So, equals text, and text will basically allow you to modify text in a certain way. So you see format text over here. So first we choose our value, put a comma, and now we have the ability to format the text how we want. So in this very case, we want to populate the month as 2 digits. So we want it to show as 08. So we hit quote, and all you do is just type in MM and an end quote and close brackets. And you see the date is now 2 digits. Now if I do it 1 digit, it's just 8. If I do it 3 M's, it's the summarized version of the month. 4 M's, you got the whole month. Now let me just show you the day. Very similar, same exact situation. We're going to choose our value. We're going to choose how we want to format it, in this case 2, and close the brackets, close the quote, close the brackets, and you can see our day has now been converted to 2 digits, and the same situation is for the year. As you can see, I copied down the formula, and all we need to do is just convert day, DD, into YY, and you have the Y in 2 digits. And the same is true. If I mess around with the amount of D's, I can change it to Tuesday, and then the full Tuesday, and same thing goes for the year. 3 makes it the whole thing, and I actually don't know. I think 4 just does the same thing. Yeah, it does. All right, so enough with that. I'm going to move on to the weekday formula really fast, and then just a quick text formula that's a bit more complicated. So let's choose weekday. What weekday does is basically extract the number date, so the 6th, and tells you what day of the week it is. So if it's the 6th, it could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it's going to return that as a number. So what do I mean by that? Let me show you. Let me choose the field where we're taking it from, and I'm going to choose a return type. This basically allows you to choose. You can see it got cut off a little bit, but basically some countries don't have a standard Sunday to Saturday type calendar. Some calendars start from Monday to Sunday, Monday to Sunday. Like, they have different numbers assigned to them. Wednesday to Tuesday, you could assign all these different numbers. We're in the US, so we're going to choose one, which is a Sunday to Saturday calendar, 7-day calendar. And we're going to close our bracket. And it can tell us that the 6th, the 6th is a Saturday because it's the 7th day of the week. Now, if I want to double check that, let me go over here right next to it and type in equals. And I'm going to type in text. And I'm going to select that and format text. And I'm going to choose to format it in the full day format. And you can see it's a Saturday. Very simple. Now I want to move on. Actually, I'm going to let you try to play around with this. You can see the answer, but maybe I'll go through it really quickly. We want to convert this short date into a modified long date. So this is basically a custom format. So we're going to type in equals text, and we're going to choose the value you want to modify. And the first thing we're going to do is open brackets. Now we got to look at this and think what we got to do. We want to convert it to show the full day of the week, followed by the summer with a comma, followed by a summarized month, a 1-digit day, and a full year. So let's do that. So what do we do first? We're going to convert the first full day. So D, 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 D. That gives us Saturday, comma, followed by the month, shortened month, so M, M, M. And then we want another comma. Oh, not yet. We want the day with a D. So that gives us the one number day, followed by a comma, and then lastly, space, Y, 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 or Y, Y, Y. It doesn't make a difference really. Close the brackets, close the quotes, close the brackets, and you're left with the exact same thing. Now, I want to go through the last section. Oops. One sec, let me just get it back into frame here. Last section I want to go through with you is going to be the concate and ampersand functions, as well as converting numerics to text if we have time. So let me start first with the concate function, concatenate function, my mistake. So concatenate, and what that does is essentially just combine cells of texts. So let's just select these cells, put a closed bracket. So you see I selected this as an address on multiple different multiple different rows. Hit enter, and you can see it. Oops, I didn't select them. I have to actually enter them with a comma manually. So we have to select that one, comma, that one, comma, that, and then close our brackets, and you'll see it concatenated the entire 3 cells. Now there's a much easier way of doing this. And what that involves is using the ampersand signal, which we were talking about up until now. So equals. And let's choose this. Ampersand, quote, space, because we want a space in between them. And we can put a comma there if we want to format it properly. And we're going to choose the next cell. And we're going to do, quote, ampersand, quote, space. Oop, I missed my ampersand. Ampersand, quote, space, quote, ampersand, followed by the last value, and close brackets. And I forgot to add an ampersand. Or I added an extra space somewhere. I'm not sure. Let's see what it gives me. Yeah, it corrected it properly. Must have forgotten an ampersand. And the last lesson we're going to cover today is converting text to numerics. It's very simple. To convert any text to numerics, just simply add 0 to it. So equals this cell plus 0. It's now numerics. And if we want to convert numeric to text, which let's do actually put this as numeric really fast actually. Now it's a number. All you got to do is hit equals the cell that's a number followed by an ampersand, quote, quote, and you're left with a text. You can also do that very simply by just clicking here and choosing general, or in this case, text. Very simple. I hope this was informative. This was just to give you a basic understanding. I suggest you play around with these formulas just until you kind of have a grip on them. Then in the next lesson taught by Afaf, she's going to explain to you how to use these formulas as nested formulas and introduce you to 2 new ones. And that's when these formulas really come into play. I hope this was informative. Please leave any feedback in the comments or as a survey, and I hope this helps you. Thank you.